I want to welcome you today to another edition of Call Me Mommy, the radio cast with Lynn Petronella, former Olympic marathon pioneer for the golden era of USA and America First. We were talking in the previous podcast a little about the golden era, the golden way, and the golden rule. And in that, I neglected to mention, I would say, I call it the 3 F's of life. F, faith, fear, and fate. Faith and fear can't really coexist, but they do. They coexist in our minds, in our hearts, in our world. Faith and fear. And being fearless is what we're really called to do in this lifetime. Being fearless and having faith that whatever we do or go through, we're going to come out on the other side okay. Because if you believe in a higher power, if you believe in God, you will have faith that God will see you through it. And that's a huge, huge part of the psyche on this planet of a human being, our soul. And it's very interesting. In the Bible, I think it says fear not like 350 times. So the whole thing in the Bible, if all you ever did was read that, never watch the news, you wouldn't have all this fear being pummeled into your brain cells on a daily and routine basis. And I was talking about walking into the light. You are the light. God was the light of the world, and you are the light and the sunshine and his creation. And that's how I see each child. It's God's creation. He created people, if you believe in a supreme being. So as God's creation, your family, your parents, whoever you are born into, hopefully they raise you well. And if they don't, you can still learn from other people how to live a good life. And again, who you surround yourself, what you read, and what you're exposed to obviously make a big difference. And there could be brainwashing in a different direction, and then there can be brainwashing in a good direction. But I do believe most people are intrinsically good. And I do think, unfortunately, due to societal, cultural, religious, and possibly governmental problems, we may not do well by our citizens, and sometimes we may be thinking we're doing a good thing, and we're not. So those are whole subjective issues. But I want to just mention something. Forget all that. Forget the government. Forget religion. If you ever looked at a cell of a human being under a microscope, it's bright white light. Think of how many cells are in your body. Your body is full of light. It's full of light. And we cover it up with makeup, bad food. You know, these are all the things as human beings that we do to ourselves. When actually being out in nature, getting some sunshine, being a real person, a healthy person, generates more light in your cells and more light in your body without it being toxic. And people learn that over the course of their life. If you don't do well by your body, you're going to get sick. You pollute your body as well as your mind, and then you get sick. And that's what disease is. Disease is not taking good care of your body, which is God's temple. So this was one of the things I found fascinating about the Olympics. What could I do to make myself into the best being, the best human being that God created? That was part of my thinking process. What is this body that God gave me? What can I do with this body? I was shocked. I think I was more shocked than anybody else. But it's not just about me. It's about being a human on the planet. There are many different levels of enlightenment, and this is why people go to gurus and this and this and that. You are your own guru. Let me just say this. You're your own guru. You can learn from other people, but you have to be the one that experiences these transcendental experiences. And it's not about taking drugs. Your body creates its own natural high without sugar and drugs. So if you're truly in sync with all the white light in you, which is in every single cell, and we've got billions of cells, that's a lot of light. What is your body aura or light emanating into the world? Are you emanating light? Are you emanating darkness? That's another thing for my awareness group, the millennials. I love the millennials with their yoga mat. A yoga mat is not an exercise. That's a nap. Yoga. It's not the worst exercise. It has its place. And I am going to refer all of you. There's a book out. We talk about health, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. I'm all about trying to empower people so you understand that. I was in the nutrition business many years, and there's a book, Eat Right for Your Blood Type. I highly recommend you Google search it online and look up what your blood type is and what exercise and what diet you should be on for your blood type. I'm a blood type O, which is the basic universal blood type, and the exercise good for blood type O, guess what? Running. So I accidentally fell into that, which was perfect for my blood type. We're the hunters, okay? That's who we are, the blood type O. That's the universal blood donor. And not everybody's cut for that. I think blood type A and B may be yoga. I don't remember correctly, but you can look up what your blood type is and then do the exercise that goes with your blood type. And then do the diet that goes with your blood type. And I think you might see a better human being and a healthier state of mind and body for who you are. So that's just a suggestion. But every single cell is full of light. And every day we have a chance to accept faith or fear. And there's a lot of things that you do in life to test yourself. There's a lot of things I've been afraid to do that I did. They said if it doesn't scare you, you're not trying hard enough. Okay, there's a lot of scary things that happen to people, and you do them and you go through them, and you test yourself in this lifetime. We all do it. I mean, I did it when I was much younger. And I think I'm testing myself in different areas, too. There's always something new you can learn and something else you can try. That's life. And you're only here for I don't know how many years, and there's a lot of different things you can try. My mother once said my resume looks like a Bible. I mean, after I learn something, sometimes I'm not that interested. But there's many different ways you can use your life. And if you can use your life to better people's lives, I think that's a great thing to do, whether you're a coach, a teacher, a parent, a friend. Anything you can do to maybe encourage someone, help someone. I think those are things that, are good things to try and do. And, if you have some wisdom about certain subjects, you can impart that on other people. Now, people may or may not take your advice, and that's fine. We all have to try things on our own and see whether we like them or not. And everybody's path is going to be different. But, I think what we end up doing, one of the things I don't like about religion is all the judgment. It says in the Bible, don't judge. But I hate to be honest with you, I think religious people are very judgmental. So I'm not wild about traditional religion. I'm much more interested in God as a supreme being who's very forgiving and compassionate. Because he knew that we were built with flaws, but he also knew we were built with light. And he gives everybody a lot of different talents. My parents gave us so many lessons. My gosh, they gave us so many different things. And even if you don't have those things, you can read, you can learn, you can find a coach, you can do so many things to improve your life, every day of your life. And I hope you feed your mind, your body, and your soul with good things that are full of light. Because the more you fill your life with things that are full of light, the more you are going to emit light into our world, and we need more light in this world. We need more light. We don't need more war. I love our President Bush, who had, 1,000 points of light and then went to war. I don't believe in war. War is not light. I have an issue with the war thing. And I hope we're going to get back to no more war, but let's see where we go with this situation. Humanity is always going to have its dark side. That's ego, power, corruption, greed. The 7 deadly sins, let's be honest, they're always going to be with us. But you have you have your own superpower of light. And, God was the light of the world, and you have a chance to be more light. And I also say, when you are born, you come through a dark tunnel out into the light. You're the light. You're the joy. You're crowned with God's goodness. You're perfectly His creation. The human being is the greatest of all creatures on this planet. That there are so many weird things going on in this world that are so ridiculous, we won't get into, is tragic. And that people don't stop some of these things is even more tragic. But you can do the best you can where you are with what you have. They say, do what you can where you are with what you have. Was that a Mother Teresa? And that's really basically what you can do. You can point out things. You might be able to help people where you are, even one person. And that's a good deed. And I do believe in karma. You might not see it right away, but you don't always have to announce it. I like when God says do it anonymously. I think that's good. There's plenty of good things you can do for your soul, and good things you can do for your body and your mind to emanate the light. And I think faith emanates light. Fear emanates darkness. So having faith, and I would say you have to have faith in God before you have faith in man. Because sometimes man will take you astray. Sometimes the best of intentions of somebody who you may trust could take you down the wrong road. I'm going to say this to young people because a lot of young people look up to adults and they may not always be telling you the right thing. I'm going to be honest. So you have to use your gut instincts and your intuition. And hopefully you're surrounded by people who love and care for you, who can impart wisdom on you and care enough about you to help you with making some big decisions you may have to make along your path in life. There are always some tricky ones. And I do believe that with faith, you have a better chance because you put yourself in a more positive mindset. A positive mindset is the creative mindset. The creative mindset is also part of God's creation. So you can create for good or you can create for evil. I mean, everybody has these choices. Again, I'm hearkening back to how I think we've become very dark over here. I don't remember so much. In our country, we have more channels of nothing than you can imagine. And I can't get over it's very dumbed down. I'm not trying to be snobby, but the dialogue is horrible, the acting is horrible, and the projects are horrible. I don't know. We used to have great acting, great music, great themes. The movie was actually a real story. So now you're better off to go out and play with the dog or do something athletic. I think being outside is healthy. We used to all be outside. So it is the summer. I hope you get to swim, do something fun with your family, take a day trip, enjoy each other's company outdoors, stay away from the computers and the phones and the technology, because that's a little bit too much too. But again, faith and fear. Fear not, have faith. and spend some time alone, away from people. I think that's super healthy. Where you get in touch with your heart and your soul and your mind, not what everybody's telling you to do. There's a lot of people telling you what to do and how to do it. Listen, it's confusing. You may not want to do any of that. I used to say to my mother, she'd say, well, you're just like so-and-so. I go, I'm not just like anybody. I'm me. Nobody's just like anybody. I don't like when people do that. Every person's a unique soul with a unique life and unique strengths. You know, what your parents may think you are and what you are is a whole nother movie. You're not like anybody. And you have the right to grow up and be the best you. I like this. I don't like that. That scares me. That makes me happy. Some people don't like it. This is another thing. If you don't like what they like, you might not like it. We call it people pleasing. It can be a disorder. So if you really don't like something, say, listen, I don't really like that. I don't like that movie. I don't like that car. I don't like this vacation place. I mean, you're entitled. And then you can compromise or go on your own, whatever it is you want to do. I mean, this is the world we live in. But, you know, we live in a world where faith and fear coexist. And fate. Everyone has, I think, something they're intrinsically supposed to do. I kind of believe that because I believe that for my own life. I mean, I went through a lot to learn something. And I don't think it was an accident that I was the one that went through it. I don't think too many people could go through what I went through and come out of it and still be alive. I know that was very difficult. But I came out of it with a different understanding of who I was as a female. And I say that because I was terrible in chemistry. Chemistry was not my subject. I would be in the gym 3 or 4 times a day. And I love sports. I just loved it. I love cheerleading. I love this. I love that. Basketball, volleyball, hockey, everything. I loved the gym. It was fun. Because I couldn't stand sitting at a desk and listening to a boring teacher. And I know there's a lot of kids out there like that, but I still was a good student. Female. Fe means iron in chemistry, and male. So it means iron male if you're a female. So think about that for 5 minutes. I didn't think about that till much later in my life. Women have to be very tough. And yes, we like being submissive and all those other things. But if you are not tough as a female, you're going to have issues. So, you know, Riley Gaines is a swimmer in our culture. And she was a big proponent here of this no transgender in women's sports, which I'm so glad we got rid of that. I mean, it's so ridiculous. I don't even know how we got to this place. But she's currently pregnant, and she's having a little girl. So, I mean, this is a big, it's kind of a watershed moment because the women in sports now, there's many, many more of them than there was when I was in sports involved. And you know, and my dad was like, oh, you had to be gay. You weren't gay. You just were athletic. And I said, every woman is intrinsically athletic. She has boys and girls, and she has to go through 30 hours of labor. I think that's pretty intrinsically athletic. I don't know what you would call it. And, you know, all of her bones and ligaments have to stretch. That's very yoga-like. Different type of yoga. So it's a miracle that a woman can have a baby and give birth. That to me is like, I keep saying it because everybody just expected it of me. And because I was in a very uncomfortable situation, it wasn't something I was going to be able to do with the person I did marry. So I became, when I got into sports and I saw what I was capable of, I thought, my gosh, doing this, running is very painful and giving birth must be harder. So I'm making a medal for women. And the amount of endurance that it takes, not just to have a baby, but to raise a baby. I mean, you know, she needs a day. Your wife needs a day at the spa like once a week. Let's be honest. You may need one too. Maybe you should go together. That might keep the marriage together. I don't know. Spa days, you know, a little self-care for everybody. But, you know, I just thought to myself, Fee is iron and male is male. why was the word female? Well, somebody gave that word to women. And Fe means iron. So what do you think? Iron male. And when you say women are tough, they have to be. But a lot of men don't like tough women. We're all tough. These women that are like, well, I don't really know. I go, those are the women you have to watch out for, because that woman, be careful. I said, listen, I'm going to tell you up front, I'm going to be very hard on you. I don't play any games. So if you're going to come here with a story and this and that, I'm very psychic. I'm not the person for you. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like there's a lot of things that go on in relationships. But female, it's interesting. So I wish you a day of faith. I wish you a day of light. And I wish you a day of fun. Have a nice day.